Hey, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Soul CEO podcast. My name is Rachel Bacark, and we are on episode 27. And today I have a very special guest. Can't wait for you to hear from him in just a second. If you're brand new to this podcast, we at Soul CEO are passionate about helping network marketers and entrepreneurs build a profitable business without losing their family, their friends, or their soul. Because this is not sponsored, no ads of any flavor. All I ask is that you hit subscribe, that you leave a 5-star rating and a written review. Today, I want to highlight one of our subscribers. It is Jeannie X, who says, Hope Dealer, 5 stars. Rachel is the real deal, clap emoji. I loved and followed her for many years, and I'm just so extremely ecstatic that she is now on podcast. Keep bringing the fire, flame emoji, and the word. You speak to my soul. Well, thank you so much, Jeannie, for that lovely review. And if you guys are listening right now, do a little screenshot, the little noise, take the screenshot and make sure that you post it to your Instagram stories. Tag me at Soul CEO. Let me know what the biggest takeaway that you have. And I believe you guys should share these with your team, especially this episode, because we have none other than the TaylorWorre.com.org.net. Taylor Worre, I'm so excited to have a fireside chat with you. If you guys don't know Taylor is, you might recognize the last name. He is the kinship of the Mr. Eric Worre and has grown up in the network marketing realm. Taylor is a legend in his own right. Not only has seen success inside of the industry, but now serves at a high level in leadership on a corporate aspect. And so Taylor brings so much wisdom, experience, knowledge, and just really fun and heart to this industry. He's elevating the profession. And I have been honored to work closely with him the last couple of years. And now he is actually, I'm so blessed, Taylor. You are mentoring my top 70 leaders at the moment in this month of February 2021. And so it's been so fun just hearing the depths of really goodness and gold nuggets that you've just been like pouring out. I don't think we've had one session, Taylor, with our leaders that they haven't been bawling. So guys, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. The best leaders are excellent students, and you might want to grab some Kleenex. I don't know where this is going to go. So Taylor, glad to have you on the Soul CEO podcast.
Rachel, what is up? I am so excited to be here. It is going to be a powerful, I don't know how long we're going to go for, but for however long it's going to be, it is going to be fiery. I am excited.
So Taylor, tell me a little bit about your background and your story. You're young like me. You're, 2 veteran elder millennials here on the line. Tell me a little bit about your story at childhood, growing up, getting inside the network marketing industry, and now serving on a corporate level where you're at today.
Of course. So as many of you guys know, my father, Eric Worre, I've been blessed to be born into really a remarkable place in this profession. My father started out basically to take care of me when I was born. And so very early on, he found success through some amazing mentors like Jim Rohn and my godfather. Some amazing people that have been blessed to be in our lives, but found amazing success. And early on, I would say it was about 6 years old, my father decided to leave the distributor side and become a corporate CEO of a television network that was a network marketing-based television network called TPN. And that was throughout the 90s. And we actually moved from Minnesota to Texas. And I had most of my upbringing was spent, I tell a lot of people, it was a crazy childhood for me. I do not have a normal childhood story whatsoever. I moved once a year for about 8 years of my life. As the television network grew, we would find a bigger studio in a different part of town, a different part of Texas, and we'd move there and we'd relocate, we'd reset up. And so it was really, I always say the true story is I was not a big fan of my childhood. I hated that I had to remake friends every year, but it also, a lot of the struggles that we go through in life, we don't realize how much stronger they're going to make us later. I'll talk about that in a minute, but TPM was an amazing success. It was a personal development television programming network throughout the 90s. And if you remember back then, you had to have a satellite. You paid for some, channels by subscription, and TPN was just one of those channels that you could subscribe for. And it had Jim Rohn and Les Brown and Mark Victor Hansen and Zig Ziglar and Harvey McKay, and every one of the personal development gurus that you could think of was 24 hours a day, commercial-free positive programming. And in 1998, they ended up selling that company, and we relocated back to Minnesota. And that's where I got to do high school and stuff like that. And I remember I turned 18 April 21st, and on May 1st of that year, I joined my first network marketing business as a distributor. I had been raised in the space. I had seen my father do unbelievable things and just had that passion for going out there and changing people's lives, had that passion for, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, from a very early age. And so joined my first business, was able to become the youngest regional director in company history at that company, and built that for a period of about 2-3 years, and was doing amazing, having a great time. And at the time, I was also doing all of my father's events for him. He was building at the same time within the same company, and I was organizing and facilitating a lot of his big events that he was doing for the organization that we represented. Corporate took note of that, and basically that's what that pivoted me. They approached me and said, Taylor, we would love it if you would come over and take a role on a corporate, being our director of events, running our events company wide. And then 14 years later of being in this space, it has just been an unbelievable journey, but just blessed to be here, blessed to be in the space of changing people's lives.
It's so exciting because next week I have, we're publishing an interview with Fraser Brooks, and it's not too different of a story in the sense of, like, we joke that his network marketing journey, or he jokes that his network marketing journey started in the womb. He was in the room in the womb. And it's like, it's kind of the same aspect. Like, you grew up in this business, and it kind of makes me excited for your kids.
100%.
You and Jen have a blended family now. You just had an incredible, beautiful baby girl, Penelope. Congratulations on your daughter.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited to see your kids. Not that it's a guarantee for success, but the fact that they are going to be around higher level thinking, vision, growth, leadership, opportunity, all the different vision kind of pathways that I think a lot of us didn't have. Like, I mean, my parents were wonderful. They taught me hard work and ethics, but let's just say, like, personal growth and modeling success wasn't necessarily what I grew up in. And so it's going to be so fun to see your kids kind of following that, generations of professionals, generations of opportunists. So because of your experience, Taylor, you have built massive organizations, but you've also now worked on the corporate side to mentor, equip sales, marketing, and really set up massive teams. So you've done the leadership work. You've led organizations. You work with leaders at a high level. Talk to me just general feelings about leadership or your experience there. And I really do want to get into some of the pitfalls, because I know people listening to this podcast, they want to grow an influence. They want to lead a large team. They want to make an impact and a legacy. So talk to me a little bit, just general things about leadership.
So for sure, what I'd say about leadership, I mean, ultimately a lesson that I learned, and it goes back, a lot of people that have heard me talk, have heard me say this, a pivotal defining moment in my life came backstage at one of my father's events, where I had the opportunity to sit down with Tony Robbins and had the ability to sit down and just, he was to be a fly on the wall in that room, and hearing him just talk and share wisdom. But then ultimately, in the middle of that, being able to have the opportunity to ask him a question. And I asked him the question. I said, Tony, what is one piece of advice that you could give me that would not only change my life if applied, but could change the lives of everyone that I came in contact with for the rest of my life if they chose to apply it? And he thought about it for a while, and he came back to me and he said, Taylor, I believe, and I genuinely believe this. He said, I believe that if you can find a way to trade your expectations for appreciation, your entire life will change overnight. And he said, what most people don't realize is that 99% of this planet will live about 99% of their existence built in expectation. And what a falsity when 99% of all expectations are never met in reality. So why not instead choose to flip the script, live in a life filled with appreciation instead of expectation in all things, not just in your business. And we'll talk about this in a second, because when you do it just in your business, you become a person of forced value. You become a person of only turn the spigot of value on when someone's watching. But becoming a person of true value is when you can have the ability to relinquish all expectation of those you come in contact with, your spouse, your children, your friends, your business partners, those above you in your upline, those below you in your downline, and you can just learn to appreciate. You can learn to be a problem. One thing my father would always tell me, he said that the sheer success that you will attain in this life is purely dependent upon the size of the problems that you are able to solve. And within what we do, son, within network marketing, it directly correlates to the amount of people's problems that we can solve. The more people's problems we can solve, the more successful we will be. But far too often, we get in the state of I need to get to the next rank. I need to get to the next promotion. I need to be on the next trip. And we lose sight of the things that matter most, which is solving problems for others. When you relinquish and let go of the I, your why becomes wildly more powerful, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. There's so much to unpack here. And for those that are soul CEOs listening to the podcast, some of this actually might feel very congruent to episode 16, where I had my father on, Taylor. I had my father, who I call him my Christian Buddha. Mm-hmm. He's the most emotionally intelligent. He's an absolute genius. He owns a 7-figure salon, and he still does hair to this day. He's nearly 70 years old. And I interviewed him. He has had, Taylor, 70,000 appointments in his career. And I say it's a case study of the human condition. And he taught me, he taught me a little over a year ago. He brought to me a tool. And where you said trade your expectation for appreciation, the tool is exactly it. He gave me this tool, and it's become a bit of a framework to reprogram kind of the lens of the way that I do business, that I do life, that I do relationships. And it was called mileage. And it stands for more invitations, less expectations, acting grateful every day. And I was like, you know what? It's true, because 99% of my disappointments in life happened to the fact that I had unreasonable or unspoken expectations.
Yep.
And when we think about gratitude, that a moment that we go into a feeling, a vibration of appreciation, no longer can we focus on or like kind of zone in on the lack, the scarcity, the selfishness, the self-centeredness, the me, what about me, the I that you just said. When even if things are in the worst, you're having the worst day or the worst moment or the worst catastrophe, if we flip to appreciation and gratitude, it doesn't matter where we're at in life. There's always something. You know, we could be super sick. We could be super destitute. There's something to be grateful for. It's like the old proverb that says, I used to complain about having no shoes until I saw a man with no legs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so there's always something to be appreciative. So there's a lot to go on here. Let's talk about ego. You and I have been coaching, and primarily you, me, I'm just taking all the goodness from you. But tell me a little bit about how ego holds us back in leadership and how that might be somebody's blind spot. And we always talk about ego stands for like edging God out, and, you know, ego's not your amigo. But tell me a little bit about how ego as a network marketer or as a leader in entrepreneurship can really put a lid on our success.
For sure. And what I'd say is, number one is for everyone listening to this is understand that ego is ingrained in us. In today's day and age, it is almost there. Maybe like the Dalai Lama, maybe like there's like maybe a very select few people on this planet that have the ability to live a life of no ego. But for the most part, what I will tell you is that ego resides in all of us. Our biggest calling is to find ways to mitigate, to eliminate, to lessen that ego, to bring it down as much as we possibly can But what Rachel was just talking about, taking the expectation, take ego, for instance, take loving somebody at its purest form. If you are to love someone at the purest form, do they need to love you back in order for that love to be real? In order for you to love someone, does that love need to be reciprocated? Because in my opinion, everything will tell you, if the love needs to be reciprocated, it is not real love. It is egotistical love. It is loving so that you are getting something back. It is giving slightly so that you can take. It is not give. Love is meant to be loved, whether it is received well, wrong, indifferent, and not given back. It is just meant to be love. And so, a little book plug, Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday is one of amazing book. Go read that book if you haven't read it. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. But what I will tell you is that ego is again, it's in us, but it is of us to eliminate as much of it as we possibly can. And how I have seen best doing that is, again, what Rachel and I have been working on with this amazing group of mentoring is stripping away a lot of the toxicity that so many people find themselves wearing like a suit of armor on a daily basis, that they're just coming into, and they're like, the world has gotten so chaotic and so divisive and so crazy that so many people are just putting on almost like this giant suit of negative armor just to almost protect themselves from anything more negative coming. It's like, you can't make it worse for me. My life's already the worst it could be. And so, it's just kind of protects them. But what I will say is that when you shed that away, when you wake up, one thing that we had their people do is Rachel's team do is wake up and do an instant act of service. The first thing you do upon waking up in the morning is waking up and looking to do an act of service, whether it's for your children, whether it's for your spouse, whether it's for one of your animals, whether it's for a friend, whatever it might be. You find a way to wake up and do that act of service first thing in the morning. And it sets the tone for the day. We also talked about, instead of everyone loves random acts of kindness, we talked about conscious acts of kindness. We talked about going out into the world with a conscious ideal that I am going to make somebody's life better today. I'm not coming home until I positively impact someone's life is a conscious act of kindness. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think so much about ego that we talk about stripping that away, because people are like, okay, the what, the why, and the how. So we know that there's a problem. That's the what. We know why it's a problem, because if we have an ego, then it's selfish. It's seeking control. It has expectations. It's judgmental. It's looking for other people to complete them. It's like, what about me? What can I get, receive? It feels threatened. And we think about it, leadership. I see that a lot with kind of new and up and coming leaders, that they need to feel needed. They don't want to be succeeded. They don't want to give praise. They don't want to give encouragement. They want to be the guy. They want to be the gal.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so we know the what, we know the why, but then it's like the how. And that's why I always try to bring like the how to Soul CEO. Like, how do we do this? How do we strip ego? Some of it's self-reflection. Some of it is actually like awareness. It's actually looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing yourself for who you really are, not in a self-deprecating way. We don't want to shit all over ourselves. Well, you should be nicer. You should be more, non-judgmental. You shouldn't have expectations, because then it just like makes you feel even worse. But you look at yourself, and one of the ways that I found, because I still have, and I feel like it's a lifelong sport, Taylor. It's like golf. It's shedding the ego. It's shedding like the snake, the skin every single year. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't know I had another layer. I had another depth of this nasty, gnarly, gross ego. And so
Rachel,
you're doing that.
You know what I'd say really quickly is the one thing that I've noticed the most about ego within network marketing is ego is the one thing that is going to keep the potential wildly successful leader in the state of being the message, not the messenger. That is my biggest ego is going to want to make you be the message. Ego wants you to tell the story. Ego wants you to be the third party validation. Ego wants you to be the face of the calls. Ego wants your voice to be on everything. And And when you can strip away and understand that the biggest thing you can do in network marketing to relinquish ego is to, as quickly as possible, become the messenger in your own story, no matter what level of leadership you are at. There's always going to be someone above you. There's always, and if there's not, say you're at the very number one income earner position within your company, there is going to be someone sidelined to you that by them telling your story and edifying them, it is going to make you 10 times more duplicatable, powerful, influential, servant leader driven. It's everything that you want it to be. And so the one thing in network marketing I say focus on the most when it comes to ego, and most people, when they look at their ego, will see this, is they want to be the message, not the messenger. And when they let that go, look at Rachel's, look at the top 100 network marketers on the planet. Those are the ones that have found the ability to, no matter what level they have ever been at, be the messenger, not the message.
When I think of message via message versus messenger, I think of gift versus gift giver.
Yes.
When we are in our ego, we believe we are the gift, right? But when we are the gift giver, we're just taking an opportunity, taking a product, taking information, and we're pouring it out to other people. When I think about how to strip off ego, you're right. I think about service. I think about the fact that you need to die to yourself in order to give to somebody else. And I think this even for newbie network marketers or new entrepreneurs. Let's talk about direct sales in general. Is that ego, there's a misconception if we're brand new to personal development, that ego is conceitedness, that it's braggadocious, that it's loud, that it's like this really gnarly confidence. No. Ego can also manifest in fear of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Ego can be like, I want to protect myself. I need to protect my ego, protect my social esteem. So therefore, I'm not going to talk to, my friend, my neighbor, my family member. That ego, like even somebody's like, well, I don't want to do anything because I'm shy. That's really ego. That's ego manifesting because you don't want to share your light, your message, the gift that's been given to you. So you want to kind of hide behind the mask of being shy. And instead of actually going out there and serving and giving a gift.
Yeah, the non-egotistical leader, the person with no ego has the ability to say that by my fear, by my willingness to step out of my comfort zone and step into a world of sharing something that I genuinely believe has real benefit, either via product or service on this planet, that by my willingness to step out of that comfort zone and into that fear, potentially there's going to be someone down the road that their life will forever be changed for the better because of my decision to be fearless, because of my decision to get uncomfortable, because of my decision to relinquish that ego, that it's all about me, and to be able to step into this space, that there are those out there that will thank you years down the road for your courage and for your willingness to not give up. I think that's ego is saying that, this is stupid. This is, you don't need to make that call. You don't need to, that's ego saying that what you have, I've got the products, I'm good. If you believe in what it is that you represent, if you believe in what it is that you've joined and you're a part of, if you genuinely believe it, like we do, believe what we're a part of. And I tell people all the time, I'm on the corporate side of what I do. There is not a compensation dollar attached to any of the work that I do. I do what I do strictly out of passion and love for the field that I represent, for the products that I represent, and for the organization on the corporate side that I represent. And so it is when you get blind with that passion and you realize that there are going to be so many lives touched as a result of your courage, that is when the ego can start to relinquish and start to dissipate.
I want to talk about, this is so good because I think it's relevant to actually a mentoring call I did, Taylor, yesterday. So I did a mentoring call with a mid-level leader, and she said, we had about 8 questions. I love leaders that come they're like, question number 1, question number 2. This is so good. Yep. I'm like, all right, I'm writing down all the questions, and we spend an hour just unpacking all of them and diving into their concerns. But one of the things that she mentioned, she's a little older, and she said, I'm not big on Facebook. She's like, I don't like it. And she goes, I liked LinkedIn, but I don't like Facebook because I feel like it's a guy's, because she only entered Facebook and signed up to like follow her kids that travel all over the world. And she's like, I feel like there's a guy's that I'm creating relationships, like shallow relationships, under the ulterior motive that I'm going to try to sell them something in the future. And then she says, kind of, speaking with both sides of her mouth, I believe we have a gift. I believe in the opportunity. I believe in the products. I mean, this is a good leader. Like she's built up her business doing hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in revenue. And so she's like, but I like LinkedIn because it's more straightforward, that there's a reason that you're doing business. Tell me, like, this, to me, this is like a bit of an ego conversation too. It's a bit of a ulterior motive conversation. How do we flip from feeling like, well, I'm just going out to sell something, that's the only reason I'm connecting? Because this is so weird about network marketing, Taylor. Side note, if I become an insurance agent and I call my friends to tell them I'm an insurance agent, and that I have, like, let's say life insurance, I actually think it's one of the best things that very few people understand. Like everyone should have life insurance. Like the fact it's actually selfish to not have, because it's so cheap to have, like to set your family up in case something were to happen for you, right? And so it's a gift. It is a gift for, like, if I call my best friend and I'm a new insurance agent, I said, hey, boo boo chow, you have a little bit of a girl, you want to have a bigger family, you have your husband there, you need to get this life insurance policy. It's X amount of dollars per month, and in case something happens to you, you're gonna have $100,000, $200,000, whatever, for your final expenses. Yep. And if I become that insurance agent, there's nobody in my network saying, oh, Rachel's just trying to get something. Rachel's just trying to sell me something. But why is that the case in network marketing? And how do we get kind of over that perception, but also that fear inside of us? Like, well, I don't want them to think I'm just trying to get something. I'm like, no. I am, and I should be compensated for blessing your life with this product and opportunity. So talk to us about that motive.
I think, but you just hit it on the head there, because I think how you're approaching things now, when you approach things feeling gross, it's probably gross. Like it's like if you're messaging people and you're coming out of it feeling like, ooh, that felt like I had an ulterior motive, then you had an ulterior motive. It's like when we go into relationships, when I'm building a relationship with someone, it's because I am, number one, I am instantly looking for problems in their life that I would have the ability to solve, ways that I could make their life better, things that I could do to improve their life. That is my number one, like, as soon as I'm building a connection, and that's authentic. A lot of the times, people get so pigeonholed into LifeVantage. Like, who says LifeVantage is the only piece of value that you can offer a connection? Why does that have to be like the only thing? In whatever company it is that you represent, why does that have to be the only thing that you like speak about? Why does it have to, like, it doesn't have to be so pigeonholed into your product or your service when it comes to the value that you have to give this world. And so when you're sitting and building connections and you're like, the only thing I have to talk about is my product or service as far as a value add, then yeah, it's going to feel kind of gross. But I'm pretty sure that everyone listening to this has the ability to look for ways within themselves that they could bring value to others outside of their product and service, outside of their company. Whether it's like, I could go to give me a name of a random person on Facebook, and within 30 seconds of being on their profile, I could find what it is that they're passionate about, what it is that they love in this life. And I could go find a way to bring value to them, whether it's a funny video, an interesting article, whatever. And just say, hey, I saw that you were just talking about this the other day and saw this article and thought it was interesting, thought you might find intrigue with it. Hope you have an amazing day. I think that we're far too often looking at these, and it is an ulterior motive. You have to genuinely look at these people as people that have real everyday problems. And your goal, like anytime you want to build a friendship, I mean, what friends do you have where all you do is take from them? Probably wouldn't be very good friendships. But if you have a lot of friendships where it's like give and take back and forth, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it allows this ability for like them to say, hey, I saw an article that I thought you would be interested in. And then you guys start having a real conversation. And then down the road, when a problem gets presented within their life, oh my gosh, sorry, I didn't get back to you. It's been super stressful this week. My husband just lost his job. It's been nutty. Like we're strappy. We don't know what we're going to do for cash, and all of a sudden you have the opportunity to say, hey, I know I've never really talked to you about what it is that I do, but I might have something that you're interested in based on what you just told me. And I'm not force feeding it down your throat. And that's just one, there's a lot of accelerated ways you can do that. But I think that's just one way where it's based on a real relationship. It's based on real intrigue. It's based on real value. And when the opportunity presents itself, I think we're trying to force people into the right time so often, instead of just getting more people into our bucket and allowing them all to be at the right time for them when it's the right time for them.
It is so true. And I think this is a muscle to grow. It's a spiritual, emotional development of having a lens of service. One of the philosophies I've actually written about in a couple of network marketing books is I approach network marketing with a friends first philosophy. And in fact, I approach life with a friends first philosophy, that everywhere I go, I'm trying to make a friend. Who doesn't want more friends? Who doesn't want more friendly interactions? And you mentioned that thing about like take. There is not one lasting relationship where it's constant withdrawals. If it's a bank account, using that analogy, you've got to put deposits in before you take out a withdrawal. And so I think if you're brand new to this industry, and let's say you're trying to go, let's say you make your list, you're going through the system, you're putting people in process, you're asking for, sales and referrals and all that, and you're getting a lot of kickback, like, no, not interested. That might be feedback of saying, you know what, you've had a network that you've not made a lot of deposits in. And that's not, it's not final. It's not a dagger to the heart, like in the casket. It's saying, you know what, take a step back and say, how can I be a person of so much value in my life that I'm not just trying to get a sale from my neighbor, but I'm trying to see how I can help them. And to like, you said this perfectly on a call recently about waking up with those conscious acts of kindness, conscious acts of service. It's like, what if every day you started a notebook, you had a journal, or maybe it was a prayer or a meditation to say, God, bring me someone that I can bless today. Bring me somebody that I can encourage today. Bring me somebody that I can help today or serve today. And it might be the fact that like your neighbor, you don't see him so much. Like I'll share my neighbor right now. I live in a beautiful cul-de-sac. My neighbors are the best here. I got you nailed it. Like in this community, like they're the most helpful, beautiful, fun. We just have a blast in our little cul-de-sac. But one of our neighbors has been kind of MIA lately. Normally we see him. He's always, shoveling and helping and working outside and, doing all that sort of stuff. Well, based on some, communications, we found out that his wife had to go through I think a carotid stent. So she had to have like some heart cardiovascular kind of procedures done. And for a while she had very high, uncontrolled high blood pressure. So she's going through all these health problems. So as who he's had to socially distance, take care of her. Obviously she's been in and out of the hospital, having these procedures, all these sort of things. And it's like, okay, wow, I would have never known had I not inquired. I would have not known if I had not connected, if I had not asked. And so we found ways like, okay, can we bring them food, which we have. We send flowers, just some little flowers to her hospital room when she was having her surgery. You know what, Taylor? We found out that not one person in their family sent flowers. Not one person sent a card to the hospital. And so here we are. Now, mind you, I've not sold them our products. I've not talked to them about our business. They kind of know what we do. But at the sense of, do you think our influence raised up? And it wasn't under the guise that, hey, by the way, Taylor, I hope to recruit them in a couple months. But I bet you that the next time that I need somebody to go and get my mail while I'm out of town, he's going to be the first one volunteering. And it's like, I'm pouring into their life. And I know it'll come back, whether it be directly from them or God will work it through somebody else. What you reap, you sow.
Rachel, that's what I'm talking about. Being that person of true value is not always looking to get a recruit. Being a person of forced value is only turning on that spigot of value when it's like, hey, are you looking for something? Are you looking for more time freedom? Are you looking for more? Like, that's the only time you're like, well, I'm a really big, I'll be there for you anytime. I'll help you out anytime you need, the second that there's like an opportunity there? Or are you that person that behind closed doors, when no one's watching, when no one's going to post about it on Facebook, when no one's going to say anything about it to anyone else, are you going to be that person? Like I always say, my number one thing that I do, this is my thing. And I'm not saying this like to like boast, but it's my little thing. It's my 99-cent decision that I make almost on a weekly basis when I'm at the grocery store. Most of the time, you'll see that the people, if you actually pay attention at the grocery store, that are checking you out are not normally in the best mood. Sometimes they are, and it's really refreshing and nice, but most of the time they're not. And so when you're checking out, one of my favorite things to do is to very quickly, as soon as they say, hey, how's your day going, whatever, I go, hey, what's your favorite candy bar? Like, what's your favorite candy bar? You got a favorite? And they, think about it, they say Kit Kat or, whatever. I love Butterfingers, whatever.
Snickers.
I'm like, oh, cool. Sounds good. I just keep going. And I have a long line of groceries. We got a big family. We got 7 people in this house. And so it's crazy. But all that to say is I'll go very subtly grab that Butterfinger and I'll put it on the end of the line. And as they're checking out, they'll forget we had that conversation at all. And we'll continue talking. And then at the end, they'll do like they always do, which is, grabbing that soda or that candy bar you have at the end of the line saying, do you want this in a bag or do you want to keep this out? And you want to eat this on your way home? And it's my opportunity to say, you know what, that's for you. I hope you have a really good rest of your day. I just hope you know how appreciated you are. I hope you know how valuable you are and how much you make a difference in my life. Literally saying those words out loud and giving that small 99-cent gesture has the ability and has had the ability to change more people's days in my life. That I don't want anything from them, nor will I ever want anything from them. But again, doing good because it feels good to do, being a person of love and service because it feels good to do. That's what this is all about. When you do that, when you embody that on a full scale basis, become a true person of value, you start to attract the people that you want in your business. I feel like a lot of people are that person of forced value. And the person of forced value is the person that has a lot of people in their network going, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough this. I don't have enough that. And then if they do get in, all they do is complain. This didn't work. Products, I've got too many products. I don't want to be on auto ship. I don't want to be on the call. I got something else going on. I don't got time for the call. But those same people would freak out and be all excited if they had 10 new people joining their business and they'd be on every call and they'd be on everything because it's that forced value. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It was a really big checkup for me in the beginning stages of business and in leadership. I came from, my first company was a relationship marketing software. And the idea was sending out like random notes of kindness, right? Every single day that we would do that through greeting cards and gifts. And I remember over the course of several years and then moving into high level leadership, one of the things I kind of started to check myself on, like check yourself before you wreck yourself, was every time that I gave something, served someone, bought something for someone, like did something even like charitable.
Yep.
I wanted a return. I wanted, even like social media, like, are you guys serving the homeless for the selfie? Are you doing the Kit Kat challenge, as Taylor just said, to get, accolades in return? Do you want people to see it? And when we think about in the good book, in the Gospels, it even says, like, make sure that you're giving, like your right hand doesn't know what your left hand is doing, meaning that it's not for public. I rarely share the type of philanthropic work that I do or the gifts that I send out. Now, sometimes it gets posted, somebody receives something from me and they do a little thing or whatever. But at the end of the day, like I'm not doing it for that. And so I think that there's a lesson, there's a maturity that happens that over time you're not forcing servitude, but it becomes ingrained in your DNA. It's how you wake up every single day. It's the lens that you look at. And you're right. It transforms the influence that you have inside of your organization. Tell me anything else about like, pitfalls of leadership as we kind of wrap this up that you see. If I'm on the line, I'm listening to this podcast right now, I'm on the treadmill, I'm driving to and from work, whatever. I got a little team. I want to grow my influence. What other things could I be doing? What other things could I be evaluating in my leadership to grow in 2021, to serve people better and to be able to attract quality people inside of my team?
Number one, I would say avoid all distractions at all costs. I'd say right now distractions are at an all-time high. I'd say finding a way to eliminate, to remove as many distractions as possible. I would take a serious consideration and evaluation of the value that you're actually bringing with the distractions that you might be bringing to whatever social media accounts you might be bringing them to, whether it's deep diving into politics or it's deep diving into whatever it might be. I would just avoid that and be the light within your network. I think there's enough negativity out there. I think that there's enough divisiveness out there, whether you look at it as positivity or negativity, regardless, 50% of your network is going to look at it as one or the other. And so I personally, as a leader, choose to avoid that fight. I choose to be a person that when people see my stuff, they know that it is going to be something that is going to uplift them. That is important for me. On top of that, I think that you need to reevaluate and always be leading by example. I don't care what level you are at. If you're at the top of your company, you're at the mid-level of your company. If you're finding yourself plateauing, most of the time it's because you've checked into manager mode. It's because you've checked into the mode of, hey, I've got a little team now, and now everyone's reaching out to me every day. I'm doing a lot of three-way calls. I'm doing a lot of this. You're doing no leadership development. You are in kind of the Messiah mode where now you're managing your whole team, and it's basically just another job for you. And maybe some people out there have yet to really enter into that entrepreneurial mindset, and you grew this up to kind of have that like seniority. It feels good to kind of be still in that employee mindset, but in an entrepreneurial venture. What I promise you is it's not long lasting. And people don't really like to be bossed around. If they don't feel like they're being growing the way that they were promised or told that they had the opportunity or ability to, it will be short-lived. And so the biggest thing is to lead by example. No matter what you do, spend a good portion of your time every day, every week, every month engaging in income producing activities. Supporting the team is great, but I always say, especially at certain levels of leadership, you need to get on those professor's hours. If you remember back in college, when you would go to school, there would be, your professor in the syllabus would say, do not call me unless it's between my professor's hours. My hours are Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 3 to 7 o'clock at night. That's when I'm available for questions, for guidance, for whatever it might be outside of the class. And that needs to be the same for some of you guys. You need to set boundaries within your team and be able to say, look, I am available these times. The other times I'm either out there building my business or I'm spending the time with my family. I am not this endless spigot. And it's, again, setting proper expectations with your new person that you are not that endless spigot. When you bring someone on, say, I'm going to be there for every call 24/7, anything you need, whatever you need, I got your back. Middle of the night, you call me, and then they call you in the middle of the night and you're like, man, that's really annoying. You set proper expectations with your new person that, look, I am building this business the same as you. We are locking in together to bring this up together and to expand and to have our voice reach as many people as possible. But at the end of the day, I am in the trenches just like you are. And so I'm going to spend the majority of my time like you building a business. With the time that I have left over, I will help supporting you with three-way calls, with trainings, with educations, with whatever I can bring to you. But it's got to fall within my hours because a lot of my time is dedicated to, number one, my family, and number two, my income producing activities. So that's what I would say as far as a leader that's looking to not get stuck in that state of stagnation, that state of plateau, and to be able to really check themselves and get back into the state of action again.
Oh, it's so freaking good. Taylor, where can those that are listening, where can they get more of you? Where's your best place right now for them to follow you, to subscribe, and to kind of get more information about this service-based leadership?
So I am, a lot of what I do is, if you want to follow me for any inspiration, find me on Facebook. The one thing I always say is the wonderful thing about being Taylor Worre is I'm the only one. I'm the only one on the planet, so you don't have to fight to find which one is me. But what I will say is Facebook for inspiration, Instagram if you want to see some cute baby pictures and laugh every once in a while, TikTok if you're into humor, which I'll probably turn that into more personal development here in the future. But I've been having some fun with the kids and stuff like that there. But ultimately, you guys, I don't need the followers. I am just wanting to be a person of value. If you choose to follow me and get any value from what I do, it would be my greatest blessing. But ultimately, I am just honored to be on this podcast, to be able to hopefully inspire, bring a little bit of value, and share some time with you, Rockstar.
It is awesome. Thank you so much. And I think that it's so funny. I have coaches, and then I have mentors. Coaches that I hire, I work with. We're direct one-on-one or in group settings. I work with your dad every single week in his mastermind, and you and I speak, candidly on a frequent basis. Rob Speary and I work together in coaching. But then you do have mentors, and the mentors I have people that, even in this industry, that are top earners, top performers, and I follow all their social media. I binge their podcasts. I read the books, whatever they do, because even though I may not work directly with them, I learn from them. And it's like, Jim Rohn, I never got the chance to meet Jim Rohn, but he was my mentor. He didn't never knew it, but he was my mentor. So guys, go look up Taylor Worre on social media. Make sure that you follow him. Your TikTok is hilarious. It is so funny. I'm brand new to TikTok as well. You guys can follow me at Rachel_Pekarik. I just joke every day. I'm like, am I famous yet? Am I TikTok famous? Did I go viral? It's going to be a really fun year. Thank you so much, Taylor. And will you come back again on future episodes?
Of course. Anytime. This was so much fun. And you know me, I'm always there for you anytime you want, sister.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. And I hope you appreciate it. If you got value at all from today's lesson and today's show, do me a favor and share this with your team. If you'd like for me to train any of your organizations, as long as you can put 25 people minimum on a Zoom, I will train for 30 minutes on any topic that you like. Just email me at asksoulceo@gmail.com, asksoulceo@gmail.com, and my assistants will go back to you with my earliest availability. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you to all those that are listening. Subscribe, rate, and review, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.